Hello, I'm Danita from Training and Development, and I want to tell you about a new protocol that will be going live soon. This new protocol is called Pressure Injury Protocol, and it will define care guidelines to nurses for patients with a pressure injury. After assessing the patient, nursing staff will be able to refer to the protocol to determine appropriate care for their patient. The protocol will provide definitions of each stage of the pressure injury and guide the nurse appropriately through interventions and care treatments. So let's say my newly admitted patient has a stage 2 pressure injury. I have charted the assessment and I'm ready now to add the protocol. To add the protocol, go to Orders, click Add, and then I'm simply going to type in the word pressure. From this list, I can select the correct protocol that is applicable to the wound that my patient has. Please note the actual stage protocol may not always match the actual stage of the wound, and I'll talk more about that in a few minutes. So I said my patient had a stage 2 pressure injury, so I'm going to go ahead and select the stage 2 protocol. I'm going to say Done. Once the protocol opens, I can browse through the list of orders to determine what is appropriate for my patient. Let me drag this over just a little bit so you can see this. Okay, so you will notice this is a PowerPlan, and any box that has a check mark in it indicates an item that will be added to my patient's chart. Down underneath medications, I need to identify if my patient needs a topical solution such as Silvasorb. I said that my patient had no drainage, so that's the one that I'm going to select. If there was moisture in the wound bed, I would select the bottom one. Under patient care, this is my bed care. Now I can hover over these areas and it will pop up the entire order details in that pop-up box. So once I've selected the correct interventions that apply to my patient's wound, I'm going to click Initiate Now. And then in the communication type, I'm going to go ahead and enter my provider's name. And this is newer for us in the nursing departments, but I'm going to select Protocol. The protocol will route the order to the provider for signature. I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Click Orders for Signature and Sign, and then refresh my screen. I've now added the protocol interventions to my patient's chart. If I go to my task list in Activities and Interventions, and I'm going to do a refresh here, I can now see my wound care routine here. Okay. I do have a notification to notify the provider if the condition of the pressure injury worsens. Another really good place to see the orders that have been added is on the inpatient nurse workflow page. In your navigator here, select Orders. And I can now see the newly added interventions that I just placed through the pressure injury protocol. So keep the head of the bed elevated 30 degrees. I can scroll down here. Here's my pressure injury consult for the dietitian. Scrolling down here. Here's where I can see keep scrolling here. There it went. The Silvasorb orders right there too, and where to notify the provider. Okay. Now, once the wound begins to heal or deteriorate, I need to discontinue the current protocol and add the new appropriate protocol. Please note, this is where it's going to get tricky. In documentation, the wound stage will never change. So I'm going to go back to Interactive View to I&O. So I have charted my pressure injury stage as a 2. Maybe it's beginning to improve, but it will always be charted as a stage 2. And instead of, under my wound status, instead of saying unchanged, I'm going to actually start saying or select improving. These guidelines come out of the NPUAP, which is the National Pressure Ulcer Advisory Panel. Once a patient has a pressure injury, even after it's healed, it will always be considered a pressure injury at the highest stage it got to. So if it's a healed stage 3, that's what we'll always call it. It will never ever regress back to like a stage 2 or stage 1. It can deteriorate to a stage 4, but it doesn't go backwards. It just is, we're going to say it's improving or healed. However, let me go ahead and sign that one. However, on the orders, I want the appropriate protocol that's actually going to match the condition of the wound. So not necessarily the exact stage 2 healing or improving, but I want to have the right protocol on to treat the wound as it is. So I'm going to go ahead and right click on my pressure injury protocol stage 2. I'm going to select discontinue. Do not check any of these boxes. Anything you check over here is going to be kept in the orders, in active orders. So I'm just going to leave those blank. I'm going to click OK. Again, enter my doctor's name, select protocol, click OK. And then now I can go ahead and add pressure injury. And I'm going to select stage 1. It's not completely healed, but it's a stage 1 now. And then I'm going to click done. Okay, I don't have any additional boxes to check here. I'm going to go ahead and click initiate now. Again, enter that provider's number or name. Select protocol, click OK. Click orders for signature and sign. Now I've removed the stage 2 protocol and have now added the stage 1. Okay, and we can see that here in our navigator. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me via email or at extension 4029. You may also reach out to a wound clinic nurse for guidance on a wound, as they're always happy to help. We also have wound resource nurses who are happy to help with wound questions as well. You may obtain a list of these nurses from your supervisor or the staffing office. Thank you and have a great day.